If enemies can be graded from bad to worse, then I will say I wish COVID on my worst enemy. But that not being possible, an enemy is an enemy as far as I'm concerned. It's the worst thing that could happen to you. And I say that without prejudice. Is that what it is? Because there are people who die from COVID. I survived it. I got it. I survived it. And I'm one of the blessed ones because I didn't have to go into hospital. I was able to take care of it in the house. I isolated. And I'm still amazed that I got it at all. Because I'm one of these people who carry around my sanitizer. I rinse my hands. I sanitize anywhere before I sit down. My car's got its own sanitizer. My house has got, my bag has got. When people come to my house, I make them take off the shoes at the door because they've walked somewhere where the virus might have been. And yet, I use my mask and everything, and yet I still got it. I look at the people or I listen to the people who say, yeah, there is no COVID. People are making it up. This is a terrible, 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 terrible virus. I don't even know how to describe it. It's cruel. It's actually cruel what it does to you, what it does to your mind, what it does to your body. You're not in control of your body anymore. But this is not about COVID in a way. It's not about me. It's not about the fact that I survived it. I sympathize with the families that have lost so many people. What I want to talk about today is after COVID, because there's something happening now that is the after effect of COVID, not on the body, not on the people that have got COVID or have survived it, but the left behind, should I say, of after COVID. And that's what I want to talk about today. Welcome to Coffee with Temi. This is very serious. South Africa got its first confirmed COVID case in March 2020. As of today, 2021, July, 69,488 people have died. 69,000. This is not a time of war. This is actually a time of peace. But 69,800 is almost 70,000 people. These are family members, these are parents, these are uncles, these are children. At first, we thought it was an adult thing, and then children started to die as well. These are families some families have been wiped out. There is no grandma anymore. There are no parents anymore. Some families, there are no children. In fact, some families, like a whole family, have died, and they're just gone like that. Whatever plans they've made, whatever they thought they were going to do in a month's time, in a year's time, just gone. And for some people, it's quick. They get it within a week. They've lost that family member. And for others, they've got, recurring things that are coming up. These are after effects of COVID in the body. But like I said, that's not what I want to talk about. There are two things that COVID has done. Well, more than two things, but two things that I want to talk about today. Families are devastated. Families' livelihood have gone. Families' work, breadwinner is gone. And the country, a whole group, or I don't want to say a whole generation, but workforce have been depleted. Like the workforce is just gone. And it's not just about the workforce. In most cases, the livelihood is gone because even the company has folded. There is no customer, so there is no need, there is no work. So if there is no customer, there is nothing you can do because now there's nobody to attend to. They close down shop. Or it's been closed down for so long because they can't even produce. Again, there's no work. And again, that's not what I want to talk about. In the world right now, okay, let's look at the cases. There's been 149 million confirmed cases of COVID, right? Again, in the world right now, as of today, there's been over 4 million cases of people who have died. from COVID, recorded. And when I'm saying recorded, because some of these deaths have not been recorded. Some people, we don't know whether they died from COVID or not. So these are the recorded ones. And yet, there is good news. Over 173 million have recovered from it. The worst, one of the, there's so many things I want to say. The worst thing. With COVID, there is no standard way to treat the patient. I mean, I was at home and I was fine in the end. And there are people who go to the hospital. There are people who cannot breathe. There are people who need oxygen. There are people who are in ICU for weeks. So and the symptoms are different from one person to the other. I'm going to say this again. Again, that's not what I want to talk about. So let me go to what I want to talk about. When I say the after effects of COVID, not on the body, but what COVID leaves behind in its wake. The first thing that I want to talk about, what COVID has left behind in its wake, are orphans. Orphans all over the world. It is now being reported, and it probably by the time I post this, it might be more than that. But right now, and the figure that I have is 1,134,000 COVID orphans are now reported worldwide. And again, I'm saying reported because we actually don't know how many children are now orphans because of this COVID. Let's look at this and see whether you can understand what I'm talking about. In India, 120,000 people are dying monthly, recorded again from COVID. So in some homes, you have both parents gone. In some places, it's the grandparents that are looking after them gone. You have children under 10 where there are no longer any adults in the house. This used to happen in the days of AIDS, and we had families that have been run by children because parents are dead from AIDS or the caregiver is dead from AIDS. Now it's COVID. Not that the ones that happened with AIDS have stopped or HIV have stopped, but this is now coming into it. And what is happening is that these children, because it's now just been, it's not coming up, and we need to think about this. We need to figure out how we can help. What can we do? Because you already have enough going on in your family. Either your immediate family or extended family, which is the second thing I'm going to talk about. But right now, there are children who have no caregivers. They have no care at all. They have nobody looking after them as per how do they eat, how are they going to, even the rent, because if there is no breadwinner in the house, if there is no adult in the house, where are they going to sleep? So shelter, which is a basic human need, is gone for some of them. And this will lead to other things, education. And I said to someone, and I've actually probably said to many people, right now, academics is the least of our problems when it comes to COVID. Academics is the least of the problem. I would rather have my child alive than I'm missing a year of school or 2 years of school. Some think it's because I'm a teacher, but it's not. It's not. I don't even want to ask the question. It's a question that I pray that no parent will have to answer. But I would rather have her alive than missing school. I don't care that much when, it's not something that when you weigh it, it's, I don't know what to do. No, I'll keep her at home. Yes, it's inconvenience when it comes to my movement and all of that, but I'd rather have her at home. So education really is the least of our problems when it comes to COVID. We have the care of the children. We have what will probably happen. And I am so sad to say this. There is no way the governments are going to be able to prepare against this around the world because, like I said, there are just so many things going on at the same time. And this is human trafficking. There are going to be those detestable people who are looking around, who are going to lie to these children about looking after them, who are going to take them in only to traffic them. So that is going to happen. There's going to be abuse of these children. How can we stop this? There's going to be prostitution of these children. What can we do? There's going to be disease among these children because there's no care, there's no adult to look after them. What can we do? How can we help? There's going to be teenage pregnancies, which is going to, so this becomes even more of a vicious circle. So first the parents die or the caregiver die, and then they're left alone. And they have to eat, and they will do whatever it is necessary Some of them will go looking for these things because they have to eat. Are we not going to see children eating from dustbins even worse than before? Unfortunately, it's going to happen. Are we not going to see kids with what should be adult disease, STDs? It's going to happen because the pedophiles, who are looking for children, who are lying. We're going to lie about caring for them, and they're going to take these kids. Like I said, the human traffickers are going to do something about these children. What can we do? Teenage pregnancy. Oh my word! If it's just teenage, they're going to be, kids these days, girls. They're growing so quickly, and not just on the physical side, even internally. Some of them are having their periods at 9, at 10. Some man somewhere is going to look at a child and think this is who I should sleep with. So they're going to be babies having babies. This is in the wake. This is one of the things that is in the wake of this destruction that COVID is leaving behind in its, around the world. This is not an African problem. This is happening in America. It's happening in India. It's happening in South America. It's happening everywhere. The thing is, how do we even identify these children? I was reading, I'm going to put a link there. I was reading an article. I have read so many things recently, so I'm going to put all the links there. Either CNN or the BCC, but I'm going to put all my links there. And the finding that there was a report in India of a 7-year-old that the neighbors know the parents are dead. They died from COVID. And none of the neighbors have gone in to check on this child. It's 7-year-old child. Why? Because they don't want to go through all the red tape of the government. When you now, so now you want to look after this child. You know how it is. Bureaucracy will always have its thing going on. In South Africa, there is the Ubuntu, and I know that people are trying, but that we're going to lose children in the cracks. I don't know how it is possible to do this without losing any child. I really don't know. Honestly, I really don't know how we're going to do it. But we have to do something. In my church, the church started Operation Knock Knock, but this where you donate money or your time, or when I say your time in delivering things, or you donate food, people just need stuff. Is it medical help? Is it clothing? And when in winter it's cold, I'm sitting with you now with a hot water bottle on me somewhere around my body because it's freezing. We're having temperatures of 0, -2, -3, -5. So we might have the sun out there, but it's deceptive. It is very, very cold. What are we going to do? This is one thing that coffee is not going to cure. But I'm still going to take a sip of my coffee. Like I said, it's freezing cold. The next thing that I want to talk about is empathy fatigue. I didn't come up with that word. This is from the Cleveland Clinic. I'll put the link there as well. People are tired. They're tired of crying. They're tired of sympathizing. They're tired of empathizing. They're tired of looking after someone else. Not because they don't want to. It's just there's just so many people to look after. So many people to cry with. So many people to empathize with, to sympathize with. Just so many people, it's overwhelming. And with all of this going on, there is what I think might be survivor's guilt. You know how it is. So I got COVID and I survived it. And yet someone else didn't. Why? And the anxiety of who's next. And not just who's next, but how it's going to affect that person. Is someone else going to die? People are losing sleep from just thinking about it. And it's not just the internal struggle that is going on. It's a bit, people they're beginning to feel, what's the word? Disassociated from the things that they don't want to distance themselves, but somewhere in their head, in their mind, that's the only way they can survive this. So this report that's been reported by the Cleveland Clinic is finding that it's not just the physical, it's not just the emotional things. People are losing sleep. They can't sleep from worry. They're not eating. So it's also coming out on the physical. They're getting headaches. If it's, I don't know from what, whether it's the thinking about it, it's the worrying about it. Some cannot eat. They've got upset stomach. They've got nausea. Some are self-medicating with drugs, with alcohol, just to numb the feeling of what's going on. There's conflict in relationships because it's just too much. I know I sound like I'm repeating myself over and over again, but it's just too much for people to bear, and it's easier to not feel these things than to actually face it. And then there are those who are trying to avoid it. They're avoiding people, they're avoiding activities, they're avoiding work. They're not the ones that are sick with COVID. They are the ones that have to live with not having COVID, with having survived COVID, with looking after people with COVID, with everything else that is not COVID, but it's related to COVID. So that's why I said, I'm not talking about even the effect that it has on the body. For example, I could be talking like this and I get sleepy. And when I say I get sleepy, I'm not waiting, I'm feeling sleepy. No, I just want to sleep like right now, this minute, I'm gone. There are those who have even much worse things. That if you've had it, you know what I'm talking about. It's fatigue. It is extreme fatigue. Extreme fatigue. You can't do anything. You're just so tired that if one of my friends said that just to eat, the thought of lifting a spoon to a mouth is just so tiring. This is after effects of COVID. What are we gonna do? We need to do something. I might just be talking now, but it's also I'm also thinking I need to do something. What do we do? If you know any organization that is doing something, I'm in South Africa. If you know any organization that is doing something, if you want to do something, if we can come together, if you have ideas of what to do, please comment or get in touch with me and let's see how we can help. I really don't know how we can help. Right now, I don't know, because if we're talking over 1 million children worldwide, that is a lot of children. That is a lot of children, even if your country is giving aids, like in India now, they're trying, they're going to give a monthly amount to children who have lost parents or caregivers from COVID. And what they're saying is they will give about 13,000 rand a month. And then when these children reach the age of 23, they'll give them the balance. I think each one is going to get like 1 million. But it's not over yet. And especially in India, for example, people are still there. 120,000 every month is a lot in a country. Doesn't matter how many you are in that country. There's a lot of people dying. It's a lot of people dying. We just over the third wave. Lord, we're over the third wave. I'm saying it, I'm believing it, I'm receiving it. We're over the third wave here in South Africa. Kids are going back to school again tomorrow. My child is not going back to school. Kids are going back to school again tomorrow. And the prayer is that it doesn't start another wave. It doesn't start another wave. I know scientists are working around the clock to find a cure for this variant or that variant. Countries are opening up and closing down again. And the thing with not opening is livelihoods have been lost everywhere in the world. If you have a bar, I'm using that because people really just want to go out and drink, and you don't open. Even if you have a restaurant, people don't come to eat. That's it. You're going to close down. I applaud people who are brave enough to start businesses now. I really do. And I pray that it works for them. I really, really pray that it works for them. But that's not my issue right now. My challenge right now, please, I really, really would love you to say how we can help. How we can help, because we have to do something. We can't just fold our hands and be happy that we have survived it. We've got to be there for each other. We really have to be there for each other. I'm going to drink coffee again. I'm just so cold. Just so cold. So, it's been Coffee with Temi. Bye for now. I'll see you next week.